Welcome, friends. It is the 335th edition of Unlocked. It's the world's #1 Xbox show. We're here at IGN. Coming up on this week's show, plenty to talk about. We've got 4 new 360 games, 4 old 360 games getting new Xbox One X enhancements, plus a little tidbit of information about Cyberpunk 2077, the long anticipated follow-up to the Witcher series from CD Projekt Red, plus a new console bundle that'll appeal to you pirate fans, plus a new game announced from some former BioShock developers. Lots to talk about this week. And so, with that, Ryan McCaffrey, Brandon Tyrell.
Hello.
Alana Pierce.
Hi. I was laughing because, Brandon, your jacket is so noisy.
No, I'm not taking it off. I'm not taking it off. It's freezing in here.
It is really cold.
It's ice cold in here.
Oh, man.
I gotta remember not to wear the squeaky
Every time
jacket.
you move, it's just like...
Yeah.
From now on, I'm just gonna like sit
It's
on
like
my
a biker. It's like we're doing a show with a motorcycle.
I almost brought a scarf with me. It was so
and
bad.
Miranda Sanchez on the end.
Hello.
It's very cold in here.
So I wanted to start. Miranda, we've brought some toys this week.
Yeah.
That one is just simply adorable, and the other 2 are pretty darn cool.
Just a great little grunt. I actually stole this off Mitch Dyer's desk because I was not fortunate enough to go to the show where they actually distributed these. So these are like super rare grunt plushes, and has lived with me ever since. So thanks,
Was
Mitch.
he still working here, or was
No.
this like the post?
This
you
is
just
when he
was
left.
it grave robbing?
It's
Yeah.
it's that 12 hours after someone leaves where they
he had it for a really long time. I've been eyeing it forever. And he was just like, oh, it's so cute. I love grunts so much. And then he left, and he left it on his desk. And I was like, should I message him? Should I let him know he left it? And I'm like,
oh my god, you actually had the dilemma.
Oh, you really did grave rub it. That's great.
Maybe he forgot it was here.
You know.
Now you just
But
outed
anyone
yourself.
who's listening to the audio version, check out the video
fine.
version on youtube.com/IGN Unlocked.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, do you want to? Now, I don't think we can shut off all the studio lights and do this proper, but
Yeah.
you want to show we got the Sea of Thieves Special Edition controller this week. And it is so cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it's super neat. Like, as soon as Ryan was showing off, I just ran over and was like, can I have it?
So cool.
Yeah, it's like just a brilliant purple.
Oh, we're doing it.
Oh.
Let's see if
Oh,
there's-
Oh, you can see it.
kinda
You can
see
totally
it.
see
You can
it.
Yeah,
kinda.
you can kind of
The
see it.
skull
Like,
glows.
the skull glows in the dark, and parts of it glow in the dark, and there's like it's really nice detailing on it.
we
and
do the
just,
whole show like this,
I
so my
saw-
people don't have to
Yeah,
look at
it's
my
so nice.
face.
I
I
kinda
saw
like that.
Aaron Greenberg
Actually-
posting photos of it. He posted a photo on a beach
Yeah.
on Twitter, and it's
Oh,
just,
jeez.
that's a gorgeous
We've
controller.
we've also got a unboxing video up on IGN right now. You can check it out and
Yeah,
see the
for
whole
sure.
thing.
Yes, Damon Hatfield unboxed it for us.
Does it have like indents on it as well?
Yeah.
Yeah,
does.
So there's
or like I think they're islands.
there's a
Or-
well
They
there's
are.
a texture.
Or like a
Barnacles.
like
Yeah, that's what it kind of
barnacles,
reminded me
stars.
of.
And it's also kind of see-through, and then it has northeast, southwest on the
And so after I posted our unboxing
gold
video
trigger.
on this
Yeah.
to Twitter, one of our fans, very nice fans, wrote back and said that the one gold trigger is just triggering my OCD. I'm like,
Yeah.
I totally get it, but
It's
it's,
rough.
it's
I
a gold
love
tooth.
it.
But it
It's
is.
such
It's a
a
gold
good
tooth.
touch.
What the gold hoarders? The
So
the
great.
Yeah.
faction on the islands.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that because he's got like a gold nose, one gold tooth. Like these 2 fingers are gold. So it's nice. It's
I love-
asymmetrical.
Also, that the purple, a lot of it's transparent as well. So
Yeah.
like it just has like such great detailing and like seeing that little bits of the controller inside.
They do a really good
It's-
job.
This is probably my favorite controller.
Yeah, they did not just like slap the Sea of Thieves logo on it
Yeah.
and crank it out. Like they went the whole 9 yards on that thing.
That's
it
the
looks
thing
really
that
good.
I think Xbox has done a really good job of is those kinds of accessories. Like
Yes.
I will talk about Design Labs forever because I think
Yeah.
it's so cool. I bought 3 separate people Design Labs controllers
Nice.
as gifts. Like I love them. I love doing that. But it's also every single PAX or I think it's PAX East specifically. There's always a
Unique.
check out this like
Yeah.
unique display of Xbox One
Yeah.
controllers, and I think it's so cool that they do that.
The Gears controller was really cool.
Yeah.
but,
Yeah, that
going
was
back
also
to the
cute.
Xbox Labs, they just added the NFL teams, all
Yeah.
32
Yeah.
NFL teams. So I got my
Okay,
49ers
some of them
controller.
are hideous, but the fact is
There are
there's
bits
a
and
lot
bad
of
ones.
choice.
But like
Yes.
for the most part, they have been better than not. I think. And this is my favorite personally, just because it is 1, transparent a little bit, and 2, it's purple.
Well, and
Super unique.
what makes it better is you
pirates.
can do all these cool customizations and neat special editions on what's already the best controller on the
Yeah.
planet.
Yeah.
in my
Like it's
opinion.
not like we're
Comfortable.
putting lipstick on a pig on this.
Yeah.
This is,
Offset
this is
joysticks.
already yeah.
Do you remember we did that
so
video
cool
where
to
we tried to
hold.
make the most hideous 360
Yeah.
yeah, and
Xbox
I
S
think
controller?
we succeeded.
A lot of people commented or wrote in saying that's not bad at all. That looks like a pack of tropical Skittles.
Like no, it's terrible. That was the point. It was so
It's
bad.
not a good
We
looking
found it at
console,
Happy Home.
or
Somebody
controller.
has it. Like we gave it away.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
sent it to somebody.
But so yeah, I also wanted to introduce an old friend
So
here.
good.
This is the new Duke. And it is, Hyperkin was very kind enough to send, this is a limited edition. Sadly, you can't buy this translucent green version. The version that is available for sale is the traditional black version. But you see here, you've all felt it, you've all held it. It's exact.
It's 100% the Duke.
The two differences, obviously, between the back and start not being labeled back and start, they're whatever the hell and whatever the dumb.
The new ones, options,
the menu.
That's it.
Whatever.
Thank you.
Menu
I literally
I still
couldn't
say
even-
back and start.
Couldn't even
I
remember
do
what
too.
they are.
I do too.
But the sticks, this is a concave stick on the right and a convex stick on the left. You've got your black and white buttons. They've also added shoulder buttons.
Right.
Which,
But okay, so
go ahead.
yeah, the shoulder button, man.
Please.
So I used a Duke because I have big palms, so I used a Duke when I played Halo 2 almost exclusively, and this was fine.
You like
Yet-
to use me.
Yet when you want to hit R&B, they're tiny and they're right here, and you can't. hit the trigger.
It's not the size. It's how you use it.
So we have. Thank you, Duke. So we have to. You have to use the claw if you're using this for competitive. I don't know which camera I'm at right now, but you have to use the claw, and it's really frustrating. So I don't think I'll be using it again. Nostalgia aside, it's fun.
Yeah, so if I have sort of a very minor, not real life problem with the addition of these shoulder buttons. Like if we're gonna commit, if we're bringing this thing back,
Yeah.
which is awesome as a nostalgia factor, like let's go all in and make people reach way the hell up for the black and white buttons instead of putting these little convenience shoulder buttons on here. Like I don't know, some
What do the black and white buttons do on this?
Got it good.
well they
It
should.
still does have the black and
I
white.
haven't had a chance to actually play this
Yeah.
yet
Yeah,
because
wouldn't they have
I'm
done the same
reviewing. I'm reviewing a game on another console, and then I'm busy with a million other projects. So all I've managed to do is plug it in, and I keep turning it on because the LED screen here, if you look on my Twitter, there's a little quick
So
video.
good.
Yeah.
It does the original Xbox boot up.
That's so
And you
cool.
it'll also turn on the console. So if you just press that, it's functions the same as the Nexus button, but it just does the original Xbox boot up sequence.
What
And
kind
you
of
can just
cable
keep.
does it take?
It's a USB. I don't know if that's micro or C, but it does require. It is wired, even though the wire
Looks like
detaches.
micro.
I like that the wires detaches anyway.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
I like it's a throwback console, and you don't see LED screens on consoles anymore.
Yeah.
So
What
get
was the
your-
last one? The Dreamcast, maybe?
Well, DS, but
Yeah, DS.
But it feels good. It feels completely like it used to, as far
So-
as the trigger feel, the button feel, all of it.
I pre-ordered one, and the thing is, like, you can talk. It's so big.
I know.
You can talk about.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're right that floor is weird, but I have no intention of playing with it. You know, like
Which bums me out. 'cause I feel the same way.
I want to play with this.
Well, I
wanna-
pre-ordered it because I want to keep it. I don't think I'll play games with it.
Wanna-
Like maybe Halo, just for the
I-
fun of it.
Yeah.
Just
I
Monster
don't know
Collection.
how I played with this as a child.
Yeah.
I played so much Halo. And I'm just like, how did I do this? Like, just holding it now is really awkward.
I like
And I
that
can
we
just like
played that
feel it
game.
in my palm.
Put your hand against
Oh,
it.
yeah, it's like,
Miranda's hand
excuse
is
my
the size
horrible
of this
nails right now,
controller.
but
Oh
my
my
hand
God.
is the size
Yeah.
of this controller.
That's
like, this is
crazy.
ridiculous.
I had a good laugh about that.
Yeah, like I had to I remember moving my hand to reach the black and white buttons because I couldn't reach them.
Yeah.
And like I still can't. I can pretty much reach it.
One thing I remember, and I don't remember if it was actually the Duke, but there used to be, it was like a little a green circle that was in the middle of the controller. Was that what it?
That's
Is that on the
that
Duke?
was right here.
That was.
Yeah.
But it's been replaced by the screen.
Right,
Now,
but
yeah.
that was
it just
just
was a
this-
piece of paper that had the Xbox logo
Right.
on it.
whatever. I might be just thinking of the controller that came after that. It was the most satisfying feeling rubber. This little green circle that had the X on it.
I thought
this,
it was-
like rubbery texture that was like I would just rub it all the time because it was so many things you could take out of context from.
I feel like
everything I've said.
this is-
feel like it
I'm
was
literally
just-
putting up
boy.
roadblocks in my mind right now.
This entire segment has had a lot of.
Because you were all like, "Oh,
I
it's
love
huge."
it.
I just used to
Let's
rub it.
keep
all-
talking.
No, oh,
And that.
I mean, it's relevant.
Do me a favor, say rubbing the rubber in your Duke. No,
No, I don't want to get fired.
Yeah.
Or,
What if we move on?
Yeah. Anyway, so what else is there to talk about?
Oh, man,
so when
there's
are
a
they
lot.
coming out, Ryan?
yeah, this is
was it
important.
late March? I don't recall the exact date.
I think pre-orders is still available. GameStop
Oh yeah,
exclusive.
yeah.
so-
I think for more information, it's Hyperkin,
Yeah.
or just follow Seamus Blackley. He's got all the information there too. The creator of the Xbox that's responsible for making this happen.
Yeah, if you want to see it turn on, Ryan's got a great tweet with
Nice.
the LED screen lighting up, or LCD, whatever it is.
Yeah. Are you okay, Miranda?
I'm fine.
You getting the vapors
throw
right
up.
now?
No, everything's fine. It's fine. We're fine.
Don't worry about
We're professional. It's all good.
Okay.
it. We got it.
Moving on. All right. I'm gonna
please go
continue.
on.
Yeah, please
Yes, please.
continue, Ryan. Please
I
continue.
need water.
4 Xbox 360 games that are backwards compatible have been given Xbox One X enhancements this week. They are Crackdown, Fable Anniversary,
Been asking for that for so long.
Yay.
The Witcher 2,
very
the Witcher 2 like complete enhanced edition, and Forza Horizon 1.
These
So,
are all incredible games.
4 excellent games. I mean, these are mostly 9 out of 10s.
Yeah.
I don't think the original Crackdown one was. Some people would disagree with
The
me on
Witcher
that.
2 is also definitely a game that I think some people will love and some people will hate. Like, I think it's worth talking about if you haven't played The Witcher 2 and you love The
Might
Witcher
be tough
3.
to come back to after The Witcher 3.
They're
Yeah.
very different. I want
Yeah.
to say, like, I played all the Witcher games, and I think that Witcher 2, I think some people will love it, but the thing is, like, you have to, before you even get into a fight, take potions, go to the fight.
Yeah.
You can't, it doesn't play quite as much like an action game as The Witcher 3 does.
Right.
It's
It's
a lot
that
more
opening courtyard, right? Where they
calculated.
throw
Right.
like
Yep.
5 knights at you at once. And you're just like, this
Yeah.
game is hard.
It was one of the first games I'd played where I actually felt like I had a choice. Like, you can talk someone out of even fighting you. You just talk
Yeah.
your way out of a boss fight. Like, it's still a very good game. I mean, these are all
That was the first game I started with the Witcher series, and I didn't realize like it's a mature fantasy game. And I get to certain points in there, and I was like, "Whoa, what is happening here?"
It's my kind of game.
oh man, all day long.
It's the Duke spirit.
I'm gonna
today.
die.
One.
Sadly, I never finished it. There's a point in it where you go from point A to point B, and that happened, and I saved it and never went back to it. So I'm actually really interested in going back to it now
Yeah.
and seeing like how it plays out in the spirit of it after beating Witcher.
There's
So,
some.
I think it's
Sorry,
very
Miranda, go ahead.
different.
Oh, sorry. Just like the big thing with these programs, it's like so exciting, but it just makes you want to go back and play games that I haven't played in forever instead of playing the old games that I never got to play. Which is like the worst curse and like the best thing
True.
too. It's like,
Yeah.
oh gosh, I can't wait to go back and play Fable again.
I am
Yeah.
100%
But-
going to play through Fable Anniversary again, even though I'm still trying to finish Monster Hunter.
So
It's like,
Yeah.
you know,
you need to record it for IGN, then you can do it during work hours.
That's true.
Play it. Yeah, just
I guess
play
it's
it.
pretty short.
We have Xbox One X's here, and just do it all in.
We
Perfect.
do?
It's research. We got to show how much it's changed.
Yeah,
How
it's
nice it looks
research.
now.
Yes.
Yeah, there were some before and after, or original and now pictures put up, screens put up of each of these, and yeah, it's a
fairly
heck of a
different.
step up. And so the enhancements include increased resolution, anti-aliasing, higher pixel counts, increased texture details, and more by default. But if you just want to keep it original, you can opt to play the games as they originally appeared without all these enhancements. You don't have to turn them on if you have an Xbox One X.
Fable Anniversary had a bunch of performance issues that it seems like they don't address. Like, there was a lot of issues with it crashing, or when you would try to save, it wouldn't complete the save. Some of the silver keys are bugged out. So it's like, it doesn't sound like they've done anything about any of that, but maybe there's been patches.
I hope so. Yeah, but yeah, I agree. There's 4 just wonderful choices.
Absolutely.
And even you can kind of say the same about being tough to go back to after the newer game with Forza Horizon 1. Like
Yeah.
2
Oh, that one.
2 clowned 1 and then 3 clowned 2 and 1 put together.
I think you
But
can only play Forza Horizon 1 if you've never played another Forza Horizon game.
I think that may be true. You're 100%
Do you think this
right on.
this lineup means anything?
No.
Do you think the choice of these games means
Well,
sequels?
I
Because
mean, they're 3
Forza
first-party
Horizon 4
games.
wouldn't- that would make sense.
I mean, it's the calendar history suggests that that's going to happen.
Right.
There.
The Witcher 2
It's
goes
not-
into our next story. That there's no way there's Witcher 4 coming out, but it could be related to Cyberpunk. Fable could be related to another Fable because we've already heard all about that.
Right.
Right.
And then obviously Crackdown. So it's like, is this going to be a lineup of things we're going to hear about at E3?
Maybe.
Maybe
Or particular
that's a
games?
good pickup.
I think the easiest thing is to say these are all like the heavy hitters of the OG Xbox period.
Also true.
I mean, the 360 period.
Yeah.
360 period. And I think that these.
Well, yeah. Fable.
But, it's the anniversary version.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
the anniversary edition, which why I was thinking that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think these are the big ones that people are going to be like, oh, I love that game. Oh, I can play it again and it looks better than ever.
Yeah.
Or I think just because also it's like, hey, Crackdown 3 is happening and I don't know anything about Crackdown. And they're like, hey, look, Crackdown is remastered. Or like just resolution better and like all these great improvements. Might as well play it now kind of thing. It's like it could play into that too.
Sure.
Just like because they do have a lot of face time right now.
Yeah.
And like so that is, I guess, a better incentive to push these ones. And of course they're popular. So
I have 2 theories. One builds off of yours, Brandon, in that I wonder if they are really just looking at data and going, well, these are the games people are playing, so let's invest our back compat team resources here and pump these games up. My other theory, which has nothing to do with data at all, would just be, again, especially having gone and met the backwards compatibility team last fall, they might just have decided, hey, we like these games, so we're going to sit here and dial these games up, and then we'll just 3 of them are first party, so they don't really need any permission at all.
Right.
And then for The Witcher, they can just go to CD Projekt Red and go, hey, we made this. Do you mind if we put it out? And they're like, sure, because that's literally how it works.
So they've been pumping a lot of them out. Does that mean that it's fairly easy for them to do?
I'm sure it's a case-by-case basis. Yeah. It's tough
They've been
to say.
really consistent with the updates on it, and I feel like, it's not like there's ever been a lull. Like, I feel like we hear about it every month. Sometimes even more than once a month. So it's,
Well, the architecture was super, inviting for the 360. So I imagine, developing for PC and then doing the backwards compatibility from 360 up to the Xbox One is probably not as hard as going from like an older console to a newer console in another ecosystem.
Or the hard part was getting the Xbox One to run as a 360 in the first place, and
just
then
like
everything
emulate,
that's kind of easy. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah,
doing a great job.
I like the idea of that they're just picking the ones that they like.
Yeah. Why not?
No, that's good. It's your job. Do something you enjoy.
PC team privilege. Like, oh well, we're in control of this, and we really like Crackdown and Fable.
Nobody's yelling at us as long as we keep doing it.
Just keep pumping something out. We're gonna start.
It's like just flying under the radar.
Yeah.
Where's that enslaved enhancement?
I just replayed that game last year.
It's so good.
I really like that game.
It was a good game.
Yeah.
Absolutely was.
Very good game.
I don't want to be the typical entitled gamer, but these are great. I would love to see a few more original Xbox games. So hopefully there's a few more of those.
Ryan.
I know, right?
Oh, Burnout.
Whoa,
but it's
what
not
about
the right Burnout?
But it's not. I'm so right.
I totally agree, but I feel like we will. Again, they're pumping them out really consistently.
Yeah.
What's the one original Xbox game you really want? I know we made a list about it last year, but
Man,
Riddick hasn't been.
Riddick would be a good one for sure.
Original Xbox game.
Yeah, Riddick.
That's
Riddick
probably
would
my number
be
one.
Pretty high up on the list.
I really loved Mech Assault.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good one.
That was like my
It's
first.
not a new Mech Assault.
Yeah, but that was my first foray into Xbox Live. Like, do you guys remember this setup thing
Yeah.
where it's the guy on the couch and he's like, "No, I'm talking like the Grim Reaper. I'm talking like an old lady."
Oh, the voice filters.
Yeah. But
Xbox
they did
One.
like live action tutorial videos, and I remember watching that, and I'm just like, the future is now.
Mech Assault was super fun to play online. I don't know what it would be like now, though.
I remember talking to my mom, like, "Mom, these are other people. I'm killing other people. No, not like that. I'm fighting other people." She thought I was the biggest nerd, but it was so fun.
Mech
look at you
Assault
now.
was
Yeah.
one of the signature
Professional
games of
nerd.
Xbox Live when it launched.
Yeah.
It was.
It was that. What was the other one?
Ghost Recon, which was a port, of course, of the PC version, had been out
Right.
for a while, but it was so good on Xbox
How about
because it
you,
was
Miranda?
slow and tactical.
You should know by now. Fusion Frenzy.
Right.
Oh, I was gonna clown on Fusion.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, but
I
that
like
wasn't-
there's incredible games, but that's all I want to play with my friends. Like if I bring my old friends over from my childhood and just like that I'm still friends with, that's what we play.
Yeah.
It's just like great to bring out the old controllers. I have to boot up the 360.
Are you taking advantage of it on Xbox One, or the OG Xbox backwards compatibility and the enhancements?
Yeah, I've tried it a little bit.
Yeah.
And because I haven't been with anybody and I'm just alone and it's sad. But so it's no one to play with. Anyway, that aside, yeah. But I would love to see like what it would look like with these enhancements, like going a step further.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool.
was
Do
that
I need,
local
do we need to
only?
loan you this?
Yeah.
Help?
I gotta
Feel
make,
like Jade Empire.
gotta make it all
Oh,
complete.
Jade
Oh, that's
Empire.
that's a good call.
No, yeah,
That
that'd
is
be a good
solid
one.
call.
The list goes.
Was Fusion Frenzy local? I can't remember.
Yeah.
It was only local, or
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was a launch title. It was
Yeah.
way pre Xbox.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of those cool little co-op games that I think would be good.
But it's so great to
Shout out
see.
to
I mean,
Brute Force.
God,
now.
I get to be the crocodile guy.
But because over time, I'll bet if we go.
I love how pleased with yourself you are.
Because so I would like defend Brute Force all the time, even when it was Marty and Destin, and everyone would still be like, "Ah!" And the fact that you just like stepped right up,
Yeah, sorry.
maintaining it is
Keep
so
on going.
good.
canon.
Forever defend Brute Force.
I'll be destined in this situation. I don't mind.
In a year, we'll probably look and there'll be a huge list of 360 games that have Xbox One X enhancements, and it's just over time this is going to turn into. I mean, it's already great, but it's going to turn into this crazy, amazing enhancement library where everything old is made a bit new.
It's so crazy that you have 2 decades of games. And sure, like you could talk about the quality or like that game was made 15 years ago or whatever, but that's insane, man. Like your library catalog spans 2 decades.
That's just so nice too that they're constantly working towards this. Like, hey, we're still making these old games accessible, and I mean, you can't completely modernize them, but we can at least make them visibly more appealing and like have those improvements to work with these newer consoles. And like, just that's like a great service for people that still love to play those games.
It's great. I think the Xbox One at this point has to have the biggest game library of any console. Surely.
Yeah, when you factor in all the
compatibility
compatibility
right?
stuff, I would sure think.
I wonder which one has the biggest. Because like the DS line just has backwards compatibility.
Well, I think she's
DS
just
will
talking
show
about
up
For
current,
handheld.
like it would
Switch,
have, it would have
PS4.
Switch.
Yeah. Are we talking like
PS
the
One does have a lot of
eShop and
games,
all that,
but
or, yeah.
Well, Switch wouldn't count because like Switch can't play a ton of the old games.
Right.
So
Switch has a small library.
yeah, it's
Switch
also
does-
brand new.
Switch
Yeah.
doesn't have an eShop on it, like the same way the Wii U did.
Yeah, but it's
Granted, I only use my Switch
it's
for
more
It doesn't have virtual
limited.
console yet.
virtual console.
Yeah,
Okay.
no virtual.
I only use my Switch for Zelda and Darkest Dungeon. So
Okay, good picks.
Dark Souls soon.
Dark Souls soon.
Whoa. Anyway,
Also, at this
Real
point,
off-topic.
Crackdown 1 with these enhancements.
Ooh,
yeah.
the spicy take right here.
Yeah, I think it looks probably as good as
yeah.
Crackdown 3 did at E3 last year.
Ryan
Heyo!
and I were both very underwhelmed at E3.
No, it's fine.
Uh,
It'll be fine.
yeah.
It'll whenever it comes out. I'm happy for it to take as long as it needs to. It was fun. That's we keep harping on the.
Man, if the frame
it
rate
was
is-
fun
It's
when I
sad.
played it.
I don't know if it's just our video
Yeah,
or what.
Yeah,
might
this
be.
is not a good.
Let's give it
just
the
look
benefit
at
of
it
the
though.
doubt.
It's not.
Yeah.
It does not look good.
It was less about the graphics for me and more the UI.
Look
the UI
also
just
how
felt so dated and bare bones.
It also just looks so empty.
That was what I was gonna say. My issue was
That's-
with the emptiness.
Yeah, that's like I
Well,
don't
that's a
mind
good
if it
point.
has like a style to adhere to, but like when it's just empty on like these new
It's like,
consoles that
no,
we have, they're
there
so
aren't
powerful.
people around.
Yeah,
it's
like
very
give
weird.
me more stuff to destroy.
Anyway,
Come
well,
on.
you can play Crackdown 1 now on your Xbox One X,
Yay.
and it'll look pretty good and still
Yeah.
be pretty fun.
Gotta collect those orbs.
All right, we talked about The Witcher a minute ago. Speaking of The Witcher, Cyberpunk 2077 is the next game from CD Projekt Red, makers of The Witcher, and they gave a little quote about it. They're starting to pick up their chatter about this game a little bit now after years of silence. They CD Projekt Red says it's going to be, quote, more ambitious than The Witcher 3. CD Projekt CEO Adam Kaczynski told PC Gamer, quote, Cyberpunk is our new Witcher 3, but even more ambitious. Our goal is to establish a new blockbuster franchise from the beginning. We work in a new universe, futuristic universe. We believe it's very appealing to players, not only RPG players, but this is a true RPG like Witcher 3 for mature audiences. It's handcrafted, detailed, of course open world with open-ended gameplay. It's a great game, more ambitious than The Witcher 3, and we believe that we can aim at more ambitious business goals as well. Of course, still having gamer-centric focus and quality focus as a main priority.
I'm so scared for wikis.
This is
Oh my god.
how old. So this is the one and only official asset ever released for Cyberpunk.
I
This
feel
is
like
from what, 3 years ago? Maybe
this
more?
came out before Miranda and I worked here.
Same.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this came out before I moved to the U.S. Because I remember when I wrote an article about it.
So you remember watching this and just being like, God, they're crazy over there.
They're in Europe, so it's very different. But no, I did write an article about it when it came out.
God, that's so cool.
2013.
Wish my arms did that.
It probably was after that. But
Something like that.
yeah.
Be safe.
Yeah, man, I cannot wait for this. Like, oh God, what was the SNES series, the Shadowrun, like the Cyberpunk one?
Well, yeah, I mean, back,
And
yeah,
it
the
came
original
out-
Super NES Shadowrun, yeah.
That's the one I haven't played any other than that. But to me, this is like Shadowrun meets The Witcher 3 open world, and I am so stupid excited. For
I
this.
just wanted to
Yeah.
be Blade Runner. That's what I want.
I mean,
from it.
to be fair, it kind of is though,
Yeah.
right? And I know like sci-fi purists out there are going to be like, they're not the same. But man, cyberpunk, sci-fi.
Yeah.
Open
Were the
world.
purists kind of a little southern twang there? Is that what that was?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Get real then. So I think the
Okay,
thing with this
Duke.
is this
Ooh.
this quote is
Them's fighting words.
the quote is pretty vague, like saying it's more ambitious. We don't really learn a lot from this,
Yeah.
except that they're excited about it.
Yeah,
It's,
I mean, it's not like
game developer wants you to be excited for their game.
it's not like they're gonna be like, yeah, we kind of bit off more than we could chew. It's a little less ambitious.
Was
I'm gonna
that
be
little
honest.
twang? I heard a little twang in that too.
Like, yeah, we're just kind of going for the same level as The Witcher 3.
We're gonna play it safe.
No.
I think we can phone this one in.
I wonder what more ambitious business goals means. Does that mean
Maybe.
microtransactions?
Or it just means more units.
I mean,
More
they've
units
been-
sold
they've
or
been
something?
pretty
They
They think
sensitive.
I doubt that game will sell more than The Witcher.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, you
Not
never
at first.
know.
I mean,
Yeah.
Cyberpunk 2078 might in 6 years from now. You know,
true.
after they sort of establish it. And
Yeah, well, I guess that's a good point. Are they talking about 77 in
franchise.
specific, or are they talking about the Cyberpunk brand moving forward?
yeah, it'll just be cool. I mean, yeah, Cyberpunk hasn't been done. We just haven't. Steampunk hasn't really been hasn't been done.
Well, I mean,
at least
this
on a
isn't
AAA big
steampunk,
budget
right?
scale.
Yeah, but that vein.
Sorry,
of-
yeah, that's not what I'm-
And
know what I'm
I'm hesitant to talk about it
Games.
because I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't know enough about it to really say what's one thing or another.
one
I mean,
No one
I
does,
feel like
yeah.
But this
the
is
cyberpunk
hard
aesthetic
sci-fi.
is getting really popular now,
Okay.
right? Like we
what,
saw
what
a
is
few.
it? What like what are the core
Just like that
tenets?
futuristic
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner,
Blade
essentially
Runner,
kind of thing. Like
cyberpunk,
just like
okay.
this kind of gritty, neon, dark
Yeah.
film
place.
noir
Yeah,
in the future
like there's
kind of.
yeah. I mean, there's plenty of examples you can find out there, but I guess the easy, most popular one for sure is Blade Runner to look to. So I think with that kind of aesthetic, like I said, getting really popular right now, I think this has a chance to really thrive.
True.
Also, with how popular The Witcher was, like, hey, the people that made Witcher 3 made this. And then I think you have an easy sell right there, right?
Yeah.
Because like I know so many people that just like love The Witcher, and I know a lot of people that loved parts of The Witcher and would be more interested in it if it weren't fantasy. And so it's like, hey, this is a fantasy.
Hey.
If it's
This is
just
a-
We hear
Cyberpunk
you.
Witcher 3, then
Yeah, I
I would
see you
be
over there.
totally
Yeah.
fine with
Right.
that.
which is similar. I mean, obviously it's not the same thing, but I mean, like they're very much leaning into like saying, hey, this is a true RPG. So
Yeah.
in a cyberpunk setting, which is not super common. So
You know, we've
Right.
waited a long time
excited.
for
Yeah.
for
I'm interested for
a
sure.
challenger to for someone to do what Todd Howard and the Bethesda
Yeah.
Game Studios team does so well. Like it's taken a long time for there to be equals to that, and we're finally starting to see that now, which is great because it's like it's like how it took many years for anybody to even remotely approach GTA. I mean, I
Sure.
won't say
Yeah, yeah.
anybody's matched or surpassed GTA because I don't think so. But yeah, it's great to see that you know there are other awesome open world role playing games that are finally seeing the light of day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some like really interesting settings too, right? Like that's
Yeah.
such an important part of this is like you have to have a place where people want to live in essentially, like and experience this world in like, its entirety.
And that's
And
what
so-
that was the great thing because Skyrim was very much high fantasy. It wasn't really historically bound, and I know
No.
The Witcher's not historical either, but they pull a lot of folklore from Scandinavian stuff and all that. And so like it was cool. It was almost like getting a dose of culture from a place that actually exists in a fantasy world, and I like kind of fell in love with that.
Yeah, I mean, The Witcher's been, I don't know when the first book would have been written, but it's been,
Polish, not Scandinavian. I don't want to
Polish,
get
correct?
online.
Yeah, but
Late.
that
Alright.
franchise has
mean
existed
it.
for a super long time anyway.
Yeah.
It's something that a lot of us never even would have heard of if it didn't.
Wasn't there like an old movie of it?
Yeah, and there's also
Yeah.
a TV show that's really bad.
God,
Oh, yeah.
who was it? Who starred as? It was somebody that
Never-
isn't
I'm not sure.
isn't no one.
There's a new movie coming out, isn't there?
A double
Yes,
negative.
there's a Netflix one, right?
Yeah.
Well, they're making a Netflix show, yeah.
Right.
Show.
Yeah, the show. Not
Yeah, and apparently the pilot script is finished as of like a day or two ago.
Exciting.
But they haven't announced casting yet, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Right. We did a cool feature on people we'd like to see picked for that.
We did.
I still think Mads. Or actually no, there's somebody else. I don't remember his name. So I'm just,
Hideo Kojima.
I'm
thing
just gonna
is-
stop right now.
No one can ever be perfect for that role
Yeah.
in theory because a Witcher isn't a human, right? It's and not even in a way that's like, oh, it's an elf, it has pointy ears. Like witches literally don't have any pigment in their skin. It's not possible. like no one can do that right. So I think like no matter who it is, the casting's never gonna look like Geralt does, and we just have to be like,
That's the
doesn't
thing
need
is
to be
like
roll
exactly
with it.
spot on.
unless they go
ridiculous.
CG, yeah, like the Green Lantern
Can't do
with his CG suit. Like,
Yeah.
just don't guys.
yeah,
I don't think they'll do that.
I
We'll
hope
be fine.
not. No, he'll be a pale dude,
just
But
grab a pale dude.
yeah. There's plenty of us out there.
Moving on this week, Sea of Thieves, which we seem to talk about just about every week now. There was another scale test.
What is this?
I
Sea of
sadly
Thieves?
missed it.
Yeah. I wasn't able to join either.
Yeah, well,
Either.
we'll see if there's another one or not, or if anything else comes up. But if you are looking to upgrade, maybe you have an original Xbox One,
It's me.
or maybe for
I'm
Miranda,
ready to upgrade.
there is a Sea of Thieves bundle. that is imminent here. It's $300. It's not a special edition console, sadly, to match that beautiful controller, but it is it's a standard white Xbox One S. But it is a 1 terabyte hard drive, which it seems I'm glad to see that most of the bundles have been with the 1 terabyte now.
Yeah.
And then you get a month of Xbox Live Gold and a month of Xbox Game Pass. And that is a $300 bundle.
So I'm curious about this.
And the game, of course.
Does it come with a copy of the game, or is your copy of the game the Xbox One?
No,
Game Pass?
you get the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You do get the game. I presume. I mean, it's always a digital. You never get a disc.
Right.
No.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter anyway because you have to download updates every day to the game as it is. So it doesn't really make a big difference there, I don't think. But yeah, good to see this. We're getting so close.
I'm so excited about
We
it.
are T-minus like 3 weeks away from that game.
Yeah.
No.
In fact, it was 3 weeks from yesterday.
It's going to be the best.
I hope so. I just can't wait to see what the full scope of it is. You know, we've seen
That's the
the
big
limited
unknown right
bits
now.
and pieces at E3 and various shows, and then of course this closed beta and the stress test here, which is the same thing as the closed beta.
Our UK boys did a really good preview on it, showing that some of the sort of higher level stuff.
Yes.
I'm really self-conscious about moving my arms now. Showing some of like the skeleton fortresses.
I need your
and all
clothes,
that.
your boots, and your motorcycle.
Yeah.
I guess he was naked when he said that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get
He didn't
naked.
have the jacket
I'm not, I told myself I'd never get naked on camera again.
Not after last time.
Not after last time. No. I am curious if like what else is out there, right? Because we know there's a Kraken swimming around.
Yep.
We know there are fortresses and all that. But like, what am I going to be doing aside?
You're going to become legendary, and then you get your hideout.
And then the game essentially begins, right?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Can't wait.
I just want a skeleton friend.
That'd be nice.
I want to be a pal with a
pet?
skeleton.
friendly
Like a
skeleton.
Not
skelly?
like a pet, just a pal.
A buddy.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I just like skeletons. It's just
We
really
will
nice that there's
start-
a lot of skeletons in this game.
There
Well,
are.
I mean, you have one, so that's great.
Yeah, you do. That's
Yeah.
also true.
We all have.
It's
a
weird to
skeleton.
think about that.
No.
Yeah, that makes me uncomfortable.
There's a skeleton
There's a
inside
skeleton
you right
living
now.
inside of me. I don't like it.
Oh,
no. No.
Smash cut to Miranda just dry heaving in a paper bag.
She dry heaves her entire skeleton out of her mouth.
No, it's
Ah,
And it takes off. Oh, we're going really dark.
So
this
the
week.
Blackout Club.
We will start. Hold on.
Speaking of horror,
we will start a group,
Yeah.
an unlocked group, so that not only you hopefully play with us and we'll play with you guys, but just we'll have a group where you can always find your fellow unlocked fans and listeners to have a good crew to sail with at all times. So.
The IGN Armada. And then you texted me back and you said the IGN
Armada.
And I was like, I see what you did there.
SEA.
Yeah, there were a lot of puns going on our cell phones.
This is what we do. We sit
this
across
weekend.
from each other, and this is what happens all day.
Terrible.
I like it.
Thank you.
Shut up, Miranda.
It's not cute.
Don't support it. You're
Don't
encouraging
call
him.
that.
How dare you?
I can like it.
I
but
like
not
Miranda's got a monopoly on cute right
I
now.
do. Have you seen my desk?
Sorry, have you seen my Pikachus? I was just going to say that. Pikachu Mountain over there.
Yes.
You bring a plush with you to every show you go to?
You know what? I'll start.
Anyway.
I'll start looking for one.
No, he beats up a biker and steals his leather jacket and wears that on every show.
I bought this.
It's a better story if you beat up some guy for
No,
it.
it's not. This goes online.
The Blackout Club.
You beat up your left mouse button. Add to cart. Yeah.
Exactly. No, this was a Black Friday purchase. Actually, I did
Speaking
the.
of-
Speaking of
What
horror,
are you,
black
destined?
things, and beating people up, the Blackout Club.
Speaking of,
You segued it.
no, you started it.
This was a team
Been working
effort.
on it for 5 minutes.
Yeah, on this side of the table, we're just like, how can we
So the
segue?
Blackout
So
Club.
all of our listeners are gone. It's just us now, you
Yeah.
guys. They've
That's
all,
cool.
they've
now,
all
frankly,
shut the
Miranda and I
podcast
are
off.
gone too.
That's cool.
Well, anyway, Lana, there's a new video game, perhaps.
There is. The Blackout Club is a cooperative horror game from Question, a studio built by industry veterans whose work includes Bioshock 2, Bioshock Infinite, and Dishonored.
I love all of those games.
Yeah, and it sounds really cool. It's a game that's about a group of teenagers in a town who uncover some kind of mystery, and it seems like adults are at the center of it.
Yeah.
So it's like the adults are evil, and there's some kind of call. I think it's one of their friends goes missing.
That's
If you're watching
so cool.
video
So,
unlocked right now or
The
airing
story
the
for
trailer.
this,
yeah.
aside from like the actual cult itself, is very similar to a game that came out last year that I don't want to spoil because telling you that there's a cult in it is a spoiler.
Oh, okay.
But it's really interesting to see like the parallels between these. But obviously, this is more horror focused.
It makes me think of Oxenfree.
I was thinking the same.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
totally in that vein.
But it says they band together after learning they've all been temporarily losing consciousness, which makes me think of one of my favorite movies, Dark City.
Yeah. Oh man, Dark City's good.
Love that movie. But yeah, it's we don't have a release date or anything yet, do we?
Man,
I don't think they gave one.
No.
Just announced the game.
I immediately think Stranger Things.
So I liked what
It-
makes me so excited about this, even though I'm it's really hard for me to play horror games because I have like super bad anxiety. But this is co-op,
Yeah.
Yes.
which I'm just like,
that makes
Yes?
it all better.
Yeah.
I want to play this game now because one, I want to play any co-op game because that's just a thing I love, and two, because experiencing horror with someone else is such a different thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's like just a great way to explore this world because it's like about this mystery, right? And all these like really terrifying things happening to these kids.
Yeah.
And I think going about that and like kind of creating your own character and figuring out your own role in this world is really exciting.
I remember when the 360 launched and I was playing Condemned. Because I don't do very well with horror games either, Miranda.
The
So
exact same way.
Love horror games.
when I got to, I believe it was
Want to help me?
it was the farm level near the end of Dishonored. I was so freaked. Like I had to actually call my friend Brian to come over and like, you have to just be here. We have to. I can't be alone while I
Just
play
need
this
another
game.
human next to me.
Yeah, like just that original one.
You're talking about
was-
Condemned, right?
Condemned,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I when I was in high school, none of my girlfriends played games, but no one ever like bullied me for playing games. They were all cool with it. But when I was playing through Condemned, I had 2 girls over during a sleepover and was like, hey, you guys should just play this video game. And I gave them the controller and made them
Troll.
walk through like one of the train station levels. And I literally set them up so it would be right before there's a jump scare where there's a guy on the ceiling with a
Yeah.
pipe. And one of the girls, her name was Emma, threw the controller and started crying.
Oh,
And I was like, this is not what I wanted from this. I just thought this would be very funny, but it was like traumatized her completely.
Wow.
Yeah, it was not
Never
one of the
played
nice
video
I like
things I've ever
that's
done.
your rubric for choosing friends. It's like if you can get through the train level, we're
And we can be
besties.
best buds. We're not friends anymore. She failed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't work out. But
Took the other half of the necklace back.
yeah.
That's it.
Picked her out.
R.I.P.
Middle of
Emma.
the night. It's like,
Funnily-
get out of here.
I played through Gears of War 2 when another girlfriend had gone through a breakup. So I was playing through this game. I was wearing the chain that came with the.
This
Collector's
worm you're
edition.
slicing your way out of is like your ex-boyfriend. You just got to get out of there.
She was like sitting next to me on this couch talking to me about this breakup the whole time, and I'd be like, and I feel like I was just like this disgusting wreck of a human. Like I've
here
been
for
playing
you.
it for so long, and I was like, I guess you can come over. It's like it's terrible.
I have real problems,
Oh,
Alana. Help
yeah,
me.
I listened. I listened.
Gaming confessions on Podcast Unlocked.
Oh man.
No, it's like the best thing for co-op though too. It's like you hand your friend a controller. It's like you've never played video games before. I remember trying to do that with my friend with Halo, and I was just like, play with me.
Yeah.
And she kept killing me. It was so frustrating. I was like, no, don't kill me. And she
Like,
just like
on
laugh about
purpose?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just
Yeah.
like, because you can kill each other. And it's
Well, if I ever play Halo campaign co-op with a friend, I will always melee kill them in any of the elevators. Always.
okay, like
Because
that's
you
fair
respawn at the
grounds.
top.
You respawn at the top, so it's fine. But every time it's like, let's dance. Like we're in an elevator. All right,
I like how
let's do
you
it.
both get in and you turn around and you're
What's
just
up?
staring
No,
at
it's
each
like
other.
when we're in like a tense firefight and she's still learning how to like maneuver just like this game, like how to do a first person shooter. And then she just turns on me. And I'm like, why are you doing this?
Miranda, I found out how to use grenades.
Yeah.
Also, why is your helmet glowing now?
No, it was more,
boom.
Note
I
to
wish it were that innocent.
I had a boyfriend I had to stop playing Halo with because he would constantly stick me accidentally. And he'd be like, well, you were in front of me. I was like, yeah. I'm
God.
going the direction of the game. And I got so angry. I was like,
Is
I'm
there-
not playing games with you anymore. I'm not doing it.
Is there anything more satisfying than a sticky in Halo multiplayer?
No.
Oh
Yeah,
man, I was so
it is
good at
very
that.
satisfying.
That was like my thing.
What's
I was
great-
really good at sticking people with grenades.
It is really
Oh, God, you come around a corner and they get the melee jump on you. They hit you once. You're dead, no matter what you do. So you just stick them in the face and like, I'm coming home.
Kill from the grave.
From the grave.
Sometimes, yes, that's what I was going to say is from the grave is the best thing. And sometimes you can throw one sticky and it kills the first person. Then you throw another one on their dead body and someone walks over them and gets killed by the second stick.
Yeah.
And it's just like, so good.
So hopefully the Blackout Club has some interesting co-op mechanics
yes.
like
The
that.
thing
I
was
think
gonna
the
bring
lesson
up-
we took away is hopefully it has sticky grenades.
we didn't talk about here is that it has customization options, so you can like
Yes.
customize your own teen, and it says they each have their own roles to play in gathering evidence to prove the crimes of the adults, including deploying drones and traps. I think it sounds cool.
I learned that if I'm playing Halo 6 campaign co-op with Alana, to never stand in front of her, because I will get whacked upside the back of the head.
It's only on elevators. Yeah,
Okay, 343.
Can we have
If you could just cut any elevator in the game, get rid of
only
it.
elevators.
No, we have to have elevator fights now.
Yeah, have you guys never been in the elevators here with me before? Every time.
I was in one this morning, and it got a little hostile.
Yeah,
actually.
it did. Yeah, I really thought about it.
You're like, do you have garage access? I was like, Jesus. Come on.
Yeah, you're alive because you did. It's
Yeah,
like, oh,
because I
yes, you can
did.
get me to the garage.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
No, it sounds cool. Like I'm thinking of Stranger Things, Goonies, It.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. Like I don't like horror games. I think they're the worst way to experience horror because the scary part never stops until you actually force yourself to go through it. Unlike a movie where you can just be like, well, this sucks. I'm going to close my eyes now.
Well, it's the thing with video games. You're taking an active role in these stories. And like if you don't generally like horror, then it's even harder to get into it because you have to like progress and it's on you to do that. And why would you want to if you don't like horror?
Odd.
So
Did none of you play through Resident Evil 7?
Oh, no.
I would have. I just.
It's really good.
So that's
I
the
know
thing
it's
is like
bring myself.
I've played a little bit of it, and it's great.
so for the most part, the way I consume horror games, because I'm interested in horror as a genre, like I like how storytelling works in horror, and it's very interesting and very different from every other kind of, I guess, genre, right? And I usually just watch Let's Plays or I'll watch friends stream, and like that's kind of how I consume it. But with this though, like I'm saying, is like the really cool thing is doing co-op. So then I have someone to hold my
it is
hand.
a
I
great
often
hook.
play, like, to be fair, when I finished Resident Evil 7, I did it with Marty. So it's like I still had we did it in the office here. We were just swapping controller one night. So it's like still having the comfort there. But like one of my favorite things that games do in terms of horror that I don't think movies do as much, that actually Condemned might have been one of the first ones to do it, is having you go one way and then when you turn around, everything's moved.
Oh yeah.
I think Condemned did that with the mannequins, and I love that stuff. Like that
there a
just makes
Silent
me like,
Hill?
oh man, like it's so freaky.
Wasn't there a Silent Hill that did that too? Maybe
I
I'm
think
thinking
that happens a little bit in Silent
with
Hill
the nurses or
too.
something.
Yeah,
But I remember the scene you're talking about because I did the same thing. I watched the Let's Play because I'm not gonna play that game.
I think with Condemned specifically, if you do like a word association game, and it's like say the first thing that comes to your mind when I
Mannequins.
say Condemned. It's absolutely mannequins, 100%.
Condemned has a lot of jump scares though as well,
Yes.
which I don't appreciate anywhere near as much. But
The-
stuff
the-
like subtle, like things moving,
The
like that.
abandoned elementary school.
Yeah.
I felt that
You guys
way.
play the reboot of Thief.
No.
Wait,
Thief
which one? Oh, you mean the
The new
the
Thief.
IDOS Montreal
New-ish.
one?
Yeah, so I liked that game.
It was okay. I played a couple hours of it, and I'm a major Thief fan, but I didn't end up.
That's
playing
not-
the
very
whole thing.
different.
It's not a horror game though, right? It's a
No,
stealth
but it
game.
has one level that specifically does feel like that, and it does the same thing where
So-
it's mannequins moving in a dining hall, and so like you walk out and then you walk back in, and they're all in different poses. And one thing that it did that was really cool is there's this underground area where things are moving behind you, but they like just before they touch you, they freeze, and it makes you double back, so you have to constantly turn around in this area when there's things like grabbing out at you, and it's just like I love games doing that.
It's interesting that Thief 4 had a kind of a horror level because Thief 3, which was kind of an underappreciated game, it was for PC and original Xbox. It was by Warren Spector's Ion Storm Austin studio before it shut down. That Jordan Thomas, who would go on to direct BioShock 2,
Yeah.
he made his got some notoriety for designing a mission in that game called Shalebridge Cradle, which is you're alone in this like haunted orphanage.
Oh, you mean in
it's
3? I
terrifying.
think that's one of the scariest levels I've ever played
it's
in any
terrifying.
game. Yeah, but it's very good.
It's very good. It's exceptionally
Yeah.
good. Anyway.
I think well, like why don't we just play it together? We could just do that.
Yeah, a four-person.
Oh, I'd
yeah,
like that.
I can.
And to getting back to the original point of what you said, like experiencing horror co-op, like maybe that's a way that people, I mean, like me, who generally just avoid. I'm intrigued by the genre. I just don't play them.
Well, they did it with Dead Space as well. Like that.
yeah, I
that
played
I was
Dead Space
disappointed because
solo
it wasn't
and
split
didn't-
screen.
I beat it. It was fun. But
What we're saying is, hey, developers, be like Question and have co-op mechanics built into your games.
I love the idea.
I
love
the
co-op.
idea that like Miranda's like
Yeah.
on the walkie-talkie and she's like, "Okay, you've got to go to the power shed. It's a green handle." And I'm like, "I don't want to do that."
yeah,
Have you
I
guys played
did.
Friday the 13th?
Yeah.
No, I would
I
love to
love
though.
that.
We did a bunch of IGN first coverage on
The
it.
game's
Yeah, yeah.
really good.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I played
That's-
co-op.
That doesn't
through,
scare me. Like that's not a scary game.
Plus, I was just
I
gonna
get
say,
pretty
like,
scared when I see Jason.
I did play all the way through Resident Evil 5, which I know gets a lot of people the purists
Acme.
don't like.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mitch Dyer and I co-opted all the way through that game, and I had an awesome time. But yeah, it's totally not a horror game, really.
Yeah, not quite as
it's
much.
It's more of a.
7 is, especially at the very beginning, but then it turns into, and I really like 7 for the level design. I feel like if you gave me a piece of paper, even now, I could map out the first house in that game. Like, here's where every room is.
I participated in we did a How Scary Is video with the VR demo of that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that was where you're like tied to the chair and
Oh, that sucks.
Oh God, I did that too.
Yeah.
Where she
kitchen.
comes up and you hear
Yeah.
you hear her behind you.
oh yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
video record of that on IGN.
I'm not
too.
good with VR horror yet because
Yeah.
it invades your space and there's no point
Yeah.
of comfort. You
think
can't even
they've-
cover your eyes.
Yeah, they've learned to stop asking me. It's like, no, I'm not going to do it.
Chloe
I'll die.
Rad I think she has like just the
Chloe's the
strongest
bravest
mental
person
She's so
and
brave.
She's so
constitution.
brave.
She's got ice water in her veins.
Yeah,
For
it's
sure.
just
The bravest person.
The way she
really
dissects horror too is so good.
Yeah.
The way she
very-
understands it.
You
on
can tell she
a fundamental
appreciates
level.
it as an art form.
Yeah.
All right, let's move forward here. We've got this is a piece of news. I'm totally on board with this, but this is definitely of interest to everybody here. You know, the whole loot box microtransaction currency has been all the rage here for a little while now, and the ESRB is stepping in. They will now label games with specific regard to what microtransactions they have. So the Entertainment Software Ratings Board has announced that it will be assigning labels to physical games with microtransactions. Okay, well we do need to go to take that to digital as well, because half or more people buy their games digitally now. But consumers will be warned about elements such as season passes, virtual currency, and loot boxes by the new in-game purchases sticker. The label will also be present, quote, wherever those games can be downloaded in the near future. Okay, good. So they are taking that step. ESRB's goal is to provide parents with, quote, comprehensive tools to make decisions on what games are appropriate for their children. Parents will know when a game contains offers for players to purchase additional content, said ESRB President Patricia Vance.
I think this is good.
Yeah,
So-
I think everyone's pretty much on board with this decision. I mean, just give them more information. Why not, right?
Yeah. On the outset, it sounds good. I think the way I understand this is that the in-game purchases sticker will be applied to both expansions and DLC, as well as in-game microtransactions like loot boxes. So,
How did they know if things haven't been announced?
well, what's the difference? I mean, you know,
If there's DLC, how do they know to put a stick? Like, if
I mean, the
game just
developer
comes out,
will have
They
to.
would have to update.
I would assume so. Yeah.
That sounds terrible.
If you can
Somebody wants
purchase
to keep
things
up.
in or through the client app of the game, or I'm sure they'll put it online, right, for online retail. But from what I understand, there's no difference between like expansions or in-game.
Right. It's just one
It's one
catch-all
sticker.
sticker, which
Which I mean, how many games come out that
fine.
don't support some sort of DLC content in some
Right.
form?
Inside.
they exist for sure.
Inside, it's irrelevant.
That's about it.
Little did
Firewatch.
you know.
So the thing is,
Yeah, Firewatch.
you know, when
Two of my favorite games from 2 years ago.
Yeah, when DLC and expansions first started coming out, people were mad about those. But then the goalpost has been pushed. You know, people were mad about the horse armor, and now people are mad about things like Battlefront. So it's like,
Yeah.
I kind of feel like it's maybe just that we're desensitized to DLC, but parents would still be like, "What do you mean you're buying an extra $20 thing for this game? I already paid $60."
Sure.
You're totally
It's like
right.
just potentially that we're like, it's just the way it is now, which doesn't necessarily make it good.
I mean,
or bad.
it goes back. It's like, you hear those horror stories of parents who
The
get
kid
like the
who, yeah.
$500 phone bill because the kid was playing some
Candy
free-to-play
Crush, or, yeah.
game and rang up
Kept
a
buying
ton of
stuff, yeah.
in-app purchases.
I did that
What is a Clash of Clans? Why do I owe $1,000 to it? My biggest concern with this is just like it's gonna just become another thing on the box that doesn't really mean anything.
on all of them. I think you're
Yeah.
right. There should be more distinction on what
Yeah.
it means. But at the same time, parents probably don't think anything of it or even look at the sticker most of the
Well,
time.
I mean, how many parents look
Well,
at the
my
ESRB
parents-
rating?
As a
Good.
parent,
My parents would look at it. Like I remember my brother, when I was a little bit older, my younger brother's like 5 years younger than me, brought a game to my mom. She's looked at it. She's like, nah, this has like nudity in it.
Mom let me play GTA when I was 12. So
Yeah. Wow.
here we
yeah,
go.
I mean, as a parent, I can't speak for all parents, but
Sure.
speaking for myself, I think I accept responsibility for knowing and approving what games my kid would play. So, I appreciate that the ESRB, does go some of that way, but for me, it's the onus is on the parent
Right,
to
like
understand. And I know, it can only go so far. Like, how far down the rabbit hole do you have to go when there's these like crazy loot boxes and all this stuff? But there's and it's not to say that parents are anybody is being lazy and that's why we need this. But I just I do hope that parents are taking some sort of active role and not just relying on a sticker on the box.
Right, and there's so many ways to like double check those things right now too, right? Like we all have little computers in our pockets, so
Yeah.
Google's real helpful.
I think even for the parents who don't look at it, it's still helpful. It's better to have it than not have it. So I feel like this is a good idea, but I totally agree with your point that
I think it
end up being on everything and it doesn't mean anything.
I think it's a
That's
great
true.
idea, and I mean, taking the onuses on the parents out of the equation, taking everything out of the equation except for what this is, which is a sticker to let you know you can buy stuff in the game. Is that serving a purpose right now? If it is a catch-all for expansions and DLC, and it doesn't specifically call out that you can buy stuff in here that has a randomized chance to not give you what you want.
I see what you're saying. I mean, I think
There's a difference.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the very least, I guess it's sort of, if we just mind meld our two thoughts on this, and that's it's giving the parent. I know, right? It's just like the.
Could never come back.
It's giving the parent sort of just flagging it for them, like,
Yeah.
hey, you might want to look into this more. There's stuff in here where your child could go spend a bunch
Very
of
good
money.
point. The
So-
sticker could make them look into what kind of
Right.
fair.
It would be nice to like go to a game store like a year from now and just see what that.
Oh, they'll all be closed in a year from now.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
okay.
man.
Brick and mortar.
Oh man. No,
think-
you haven't seen all the toys they sell now.
They do sell a lot.
That's what it's become.
Anyway,
Toys to
yeah.
life.
No, for sure. But like, it would just be interesting to see just how many of those games
I think they'll
have
be on
stickers. Which obviously, as I think if you're listening to the show, you probably play a lot of games, consume a lot of games media, and you know that probably most games will have that sticker.
What was Marty saying? Like 9 out of the 10 of our nominees for Game of the Year had. I might be misquoting him.
No, you were right. It was
but
all
had
but
DLC content.
what was the one that didn't?
Doki Doki? No, that wasn't.
That wasn't for Game of the Year, but that doesn't
I
have any
forget.
DLC
Persona?
technically.
No, it was.
But it does.
No, it doesn't have any. It's a free game.
Anyway,
It wouldn't.
Play Doki Doki
Persona
Literature
wasn't in our
Club.
top 10.
It's been.
anyway,
Yeah.
I've lived a
Yeah,
life.
it
I've
was.
lived a
It
life.
most of them
Yeah.
have
That's it.
Yeah.
have DLC and microtransactions,
Yeah. That's the point that we're trying to make.
and it's just. And
We got there in the end.
I will say, I do salute the ESRB on this because the ESRB has been around for a while now, like 20 plus years, and it's good. They should evolve with
we
the
should
time.
figure out how to get
if
a rating for these violent video games.
Dang it, you beat me to it. Oh, I wanted that one so bad. If only there was a way to rate movies.
So it's nice to see the ESRB try to evolve with the times a little bit here.
Hey, great
all right.
job. This is good.
Yeah.
So last couple stories, a couple of things that really pissed me off. I haven't even run these.
Intentionally very political today.
I haven't even run these by you guys, so we'll see if you disagree with me or agree with me. I guess I should issue a trigger warning. It's going to get a little political for a minute, but not in a like red versus blue kind of.
Well, we got mail about talking about politics in GTA, so
Right.
I imagine,
So
That's a
whatever.
weird one.
I imagine they'll back the truck up next week.
But this
full of
first thing,
letters.
this annoyed the crap out of me. Well, you may very well disagree, and that's fine. But Ubisoft is censoring art inside of the Assassin's Creed Origins Discovery Tour mode. Ubisoft gave a statement that said, quote, Discovery Tour was created to offer the maximum amount of people from various ages and cultural backgrounds the ability to visit the long-lost world of ancient Egypt and learn about its history. We worked hand in hand with educators and academic institutions to tailor the content to be suited for every audience, including younger students, taking into account cultural sensitivities that can be different from one country to another.
So, what's this game rated?
The game itself is M. But
So why are we
this is
censored?
available separately
Oh,
as
okay.
its own thing.
Okay, because I
you-
forgot if this was like separate or standalone.
You get it for free if you own Origins,
Oh,
correct?
gosh, I don't know.
I'm almost positive,
I
but
think
it is
so, yeah.
also available
Standalone.
as a standalone thing as well. So basically, they're putting, they're going to cover naked body parts on art pieces with flowers or whatever. And
I know one thing they've done is made it so that there are female students or something in a setting where there would historically have only been male students. Like that might have been a fabricated Reddit thing, but I definitely read something about that I was like, what?
so I just have a huge problem with
Censoring art.
with censoring art in general. I mean, I get that Ubisoft they're a multinational corporation with shareholders to be accountable for, to be accountable to, and profits to mind. But the thing is, this is such a cop out that because Ubisoft has been a publisher that we have lauded on deservedly so on Unlocked and on IGN in general for I would say more than many other publishers. They really empower their creators and empower the visions of those creators. That we can go back to they canceled 2 or 3 Rainbow Six games that were like most publishers were just like, no, we need money, just put it out, and to just finally arrive at Siege and Splinter Cell went through multiple reboots, and they did the UbiArt framework stuff with Valiant Hearts, and what was the other really
Child
good
of
one?
Light.
Thank you very much. So this is if we're worried about people being offended by a polygonal representation of actual art, if you can't handle a polygonal artistic recreation of art that has a penis or breasts, like where are we going?
That's the thing. What does it mean by taking into account cultural sensitivities?
That's what I was wondering.
They don't.
This sounds larger than just nudity.
I mean,
nudity is
it's like they're not
thing.
putting boxer shorts on the Statue of David, right? Like that is not culturally significant.
Yeah, they don't detail it.
Nudity is
statement.
something that I totally agree that this shouldn't be censored, but nudity I can understand more because when you're learning about ancient history in school, they don't show you that stuff anyway.
So
we're still getting a fake version of that anyway.
I still don't think that's a good excuse for this.
I agree, it's wrong.
So
I
there's
can understand it.
twofold. One, even if this is a standalone thing, this comes from a rated M game. It is mature. That's Assassin's Creed is its brand. It's not just some, it's really cool that they're doing something educational with this, but it doesn't make sense for them to kind of pretend like that's not something that they don't have within this brand. And also, like, if you go to any museum, it's like they're not going to cover it up for the students that go through.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, it's our bodies.
Go to
Hey,
Egypt,
surprise.
they're not going to
People
cover up
have
the
bodies.
statues for you.
Right. And so it's like, I think a big thing too is I'm curious again, like what that cultural sensitivity
That's the
is.
thing I'm worried
and
about.
yeah, it's just like, hey, maybe just don't change it.
Well, or don't put it out in those regions where that is an issue. The watering down of this is.
Yeah, I tried to Google the thing that I had read that I think was a screenshot that was like, yeah, we added like female students to this even though we know it's not technically accurate. And I was like, I super don't agree with that. Like, I think that if you're showing something that's meant to be educational, you can't change
You can't
the cultural
fix-
sensitivities.
It.
Yeah, you can't
it's-
fix
that's
what
false.
was wrong.
It's applying modern day sensibilities.
Yeah.
Right, which
history.
means that it's not educational.
See, I'm a huge proponent of this. I think this is awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
remembering as a kid, like I loved history class, but there were some times where it's just like, oh, this sucks so much, and being able to jump into a video game. I also agree with Miranda that I think this needs to be rebranded. I don't think it should say Assassin's Creed on it.
Yeah,
Because I think
Because if
that's a
they
way.
want this-
It's a
Yeah,
way to
that
get
violent
kids in the door. I get
Right.
that, but at the same time, I think it's misrepresentation. I still think this is a super cool thing. And I don't understand why you just don't have a toggle for, do you want nudity? Do you not want
That's a really
nudity?
good point.
That's
an
way
excellent
better.
point.
Yeah.
However, again, like we don't know the reach and the extent of this. Like the cultural sensitivity stuff is what's raising sort of a flag to me that I don't know enough about this to really talk about it. But I can't imagine if it's anything other than a penis or breasts or maybe violence, right? Like murals of victories or battles or what have you.
And then it just feels gross. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like you're doing a disservice if this is going to be a historical tool.
Don't put it out.
To use to teach children. You're doing a disservice by basically taking the
It feels
bite
like
out of
Ubisoft
history.
is deciding what happened in history, and the way that they're teaching that to people is incorrect. It's very weird. But I agree with you that I think the fact that this mode exists is super cool.
Yeah.
Like the fact
Yeah,
that
I
they
don't think
I love
anyone's
this stuff.
denying that. Like when I first heard about this, like, what? That's like really awesome for them to offer like an educational opportunity along with this really popular game.
don't censor it.
Just don't do that.
Yeah. Anything like that you can do with this medium to further education, I'm all for it.
I just don't think their stance on this is. I don't think it's fair to the artist, and I don't think it's fair to the viewer, the person that's looking at it.
But I feel like you do see a false version of this kind of stuff when you are in school. As
Well, I don't agree with that either.
I don't.
Yeah,
remember,
it's like,
but I
it's like
I
let's
don't
talk
remember
about
ever
how
seeing,
schools are scared of showing our bodies because
which makes everyone
all
terrified of
these other
nudity
things.
forever and everything.
Yeah,
just
like,
gets
there's-
messed up.
there's a lot wrong with the education system, but we don't need to get into that.
Yeah, we could do a whole podcast about that.
It's not perfect at all.
All right. So the other thing that
But let's go to something else
annoys me
less
even more.
infuriating.
yeah, now this will be the one I get a lot of hate tweets about, and so be it. But
Just be kind to each other.
well, that's the goal. A Rhode Island congressman, so this is a state congressman, not at the national level. So Rhode Island state congressman has proposed a 10% tax on the sale of violent video games. So you'll pay 10% more. So a $60 game, you'll pay your sales tax, then you'll pay another $6 on top of that. With that money to go towards mental health provisions in schools. So this is effectively in response to the Parkland the Florida school shootings. And the only reason I would never,
oh man,
no one. First of all, people listen, they don't want to hear politics. And I don't want to talk about it. But this is just directly
infringing.
It's that time
it's directly
again.
in the video game world here.
I said it's that time again.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
And so let me read you a little more here. A Rhode Island representative has proposed a raise in tax on M-rated video games to fund mental health provisions in schools. GamesIndustry.biz reports that the member for the Rhode Island State House, who is a Republican by the name of Robert Nardilio, has plans to increase the tax on games with ratings of M or higher by 10%. He says, this is the congressman, quote, "There is evidence that children exposed to violent video games at a young age tend to act more aggressively than those who are not." Though, as GamesIndustry.biz notes, he didn't provide any sources to substantiate his claim.
I don't think any evidence for that exists.
Well, we're going to get to that in a second. Hold on for just a second here. He continues, "The bill would give schools the additional resources needed to help students deal with that aggression in a positive way." The GamesIndustry.biz points out that the United States Secret Service's own research found that less than 20% of school shooters played violent video games. Quote, "Our goal is to make every school in Rhode Island a safe and calm place for students to learn," added the congressman, who, as GamesIndustry.biz notes, has a 93% approval rating from the NRA, which is indicative of voting in line with NRA-friendly policies. By offering children resources to manage their aggression today, we can ensure a more peaceful tomorrow.
What are those resources?
Exactly.
Multiple questions.
The tax money that they're putting in would essentially promote whatever.
So you are
or a therapist. Or
What?
You are scapegoating video games with no basis in fact to smokescreen a problem, the real heart of the problem, which is, of course, guns. That's a whole separate argument. I only want to talk about what's relevant to this bill
economics
specifically. But this is asinine. This I can't see any way this passes.
I think it's also dishonest. I don't think it'll pass either, but I think that there've been a million studies that always say no conclusive evidence that video games cause violence, and it's annoying to have people say it like it's fact, and then the people who listen to them just believe it, and then it just keeps carrying on. Where like, no, this isn't true. Please stop saying.
I mean, Hillary Clinton was talking about this in the '90s. Then it was Joe Lieberman. It's like it's like this spirit that inhabits the body of a certain. It just moves every so often from one elected official to another that seems to champion it.
Yeah,
it's a talking point. It's a lobbying talking point.
Yeah. I mean, if you're okay, all right. If we're gonna do this, and if we're gonna entertain this, why aren't we also putting a 10% tax on violent films,
books,
on violent books, violent albums with certain levels of certain lyrics that might be deemed in that same category, comic books, ads on.
But what about advertisements?
TV shows. I mean, this is
Game of Thrones.
This is ridiculous.
How dare you?
This is utterly ridiculous.
Not to mention that the rest of the world has a lot of this media. But
I
mean, we all know what's happening here.
Yeah, we all
know what.
There are violent video games in Australia also. I'm totally on board with the idea of adding more resources for. I don't know what those resources are. I don't know how you just fix aggression. I don't think that's an easy thing to do. But
I know we'll tax the violent video
that.
games that are transforming our children into killers, and that'll solve the problem.
No, this won't pass. Surely.
No, it's not.
God, you know what? I hope it doesn't. But at this point, I'm so far beyond. Yeah.
I say, I don't assume anything anymore. After a few years ago, not even that long ago. So,
but
it's certainly a smokescreen.
Yeah,
it's a disappointing one because it's taking focus away from what should really be focused on.
I mean, if Congressman Nardilio was looking for some attention, well, I suppose he's succeeded in that. But
kind of always assume stuff like this is supposed to be a distraction from a real issue as
well. So
you mean the fact that I did check the NRA endorsed this guy when he ran? Tells you a little what you need to know on that.
Yeah, I'm hesitant to quote it because I can't remember the source, but I did read recently that is one of the go-to talking points. Blame the movies, blame the video games, blame the... and again, I don't really want to get into it.
No.
Because, like you said, they're not here to listen to politics, but this is just, every 10 years, on the 5 years, on the nose. It's we got to ban the violent video games. This is the first time they've actually done something rather than just ban the violent video games. They've actually proposed or introduced legislation that will just mitigate them. And I think I think that's a slippery slope.
We care about.
Yeah. I think it's a slippery slope to say, well, I don't want to ban games outright, but 10% tax, like, yeah, I could live with that. And then, you know.
Yeah, and then everybody feels better about themselves, like they actually accomplished something.
And nothing got accomplished. You raised money for schools. Sure. Okay. Whatever you say. And then 5 years later, it becomes 20%. And then 5 years after that, it's why aren't we banning them outright? And so, it's cyclical.
I just have a major problem with this. And to me, it's not a left versus right issue. It is a video games being
targeted
very
again.
Unfairly scapegoated issue, which offends me as someone who not only works in the video game world, but is a lifelong video game fan.
Yeah, it's always irritating too, because like they just always assume like, oh, video games are violent, they're terrible, and it's just like, you don't know anything about this space. I mean, obviously they don't, but it's just infuriating to see this always come up after something big happens. It's just like, well, it's the video games. I mean, but as you said, that there is reasons for that. Yeah. So,
I think I totally agree. Like, it's infuriating from this is our industry. And, I mean, video games are something that I love to death. It's a hobby, and it's probably more than a hobby. It's a passion.
Because you work here.
Yeah. I made it in. But I think what's more is it's taking focus away from stuff that needs to focus. And even more than like them crapping all over video games, it's them not doing what they need to support the kids in the country. Just really disappointed by that.
All right. Well, let's move on to something happier, which is stuff, which is more video games and stuff we can play. I foolishly left.
Didn't give me the attached sheet.
If I don't know if anybody can grab it off my desk. There is a printout. It's on the.
I'm closest.
But we can first talk about March's Games with Gold. Perhaps. And a new addition to Game Pass as well.
Rise of the Tomb Raider is now on Xbox Game Pass. That's a very good video game.
That to me, that might be. It's a top 10 Xbox One game for me for sure. Maybe even top 5.
Yeah.
I voted for it for Game of the Year in 2015.
Not enough people played it.
If you,
I played so much that game because I did the wiki. It is a dense
Finding
game.
collectibles in both of those games is very difficult.
Yeah, I think just the improvements it had over the original was just awesome. Like I like the story for this one as well.
And the tombs.
Yeah, the tombs were so good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this one as well. It's just if you need some help, got a good wiki for you. I'm just gonna plug the heck out of this because like I worked so hard on this guy because like not joking, it is super dense. Yeah. Like I made so many maps and so much time in this game.
And even better, it's got a bunch of great Xbox One X enhancements too.
Yeah.
So if you happen to be maybe you just picked up an X and you've got either your trial for Game Pass or you've just decided to subscribe, this is a good game to throw at the Xbox One X because it looks really great.
Oh yeah, for sure.
March Games with Gold, we have Trials of the Blood Dragon still. That's March 1st to 31st on Xbox One. Super Hot, very good game. Super Hot on March 16 to April 15 on Xbox One. Brave is March 1st to 15 on Xbox One and Xbox 360. And Quantum Conundrum, March 16 to 31 on Xbox One and Xbox 360. I actually haven't played that game and have been meaning to forever. So,
which one? Quantum?
Yeah, Quantum Conundrum.
Yeah, Kim Swift's Portal follow-up. Yeah, it's very good. I actually didn't end up finishing it. I think I got stuck at one point. And something I just did. I don't know. It didn't quite hook me the way Portal did, but it is excellent.
Yeah,
it is really good. That's for a free game.
The one I'm for sure looking forward to.
Yeah. Games out.
Lots of them this week.
Immortal Redneck.
Oh, my favorite game name in a long time.
February 27th.
It's not what you think it is, except it is, but it's not.
It actually,
Please, enlighten us, Alana.
Put on the mummified boots of a redneck tourist who wakes up in ancient Egypt after a supernatural accident. All right. A mix of old school FPS action and roguelite elements. Fight through the dangerous pyramids, destroy a variety of monsters, and figure out what happened to this immortal redneck.
And by the way, you'll find this is actually Ubisoft has included this. This is their version of reality in the Discovery Tour mode. Nice. So there were rednecks and they woke up a mummy and
totally happened.
Callbacks.
Gravel, February 27th. That's Xbox One enhanced. It seems to be a racing game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Deep Blob. I feel like most people are probably familiar with that.
Another very good game.
Yeah.
Yeah, from resurrected from the ashes of THQ.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
By
it's
THQ.
Yeah.
The new THQ Nordic. It was a good game back in the day, and I bet it'll hold up pretty well.
Riftstar Raiders is February 28th. Shoot and loot your way across 9 4-player co-op missions with your friends. Deep Rock Galactic, Xbox One enhanced as well, but that one is actually in game preview. It says Space Dwarves. Have your attention? Great. Like, not really. I mean,
Alana's like, nah.
it
I'm
is
along right there
a
with you.
new co-op FPS.
Like Space Dwarves.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I'm not like, ooh, tell me more.
I can't actually remember if that's like the Minecraft one or.
Yeah, they showed it at on stage at
like
not on stage, but on the on the sort of the sizzle reel during E3.
It's like voxel based. You dig tunnels on asteroids.
I zone out anytime there's like mining or crafting in a game at this point.
Yeah, it's very.
What about cooking?
I respect the hell out of Fortnite.
It's different. Like, yeah, I don't know. That's a good point, I guess.
I don't want to craft unless it's Diablo. I don't want to craft.
Darkest Dungeon, that's also a very good video.
Oh my god, go play that game.
It says a mix of gothic horror and challenging turn-based RPG mechanics. Very good.
What madness.
Bridge Constructor Portal. Return to Aperture Science Enrichment Center for a slew of new challenging puzzles.
It's Portal 3, y'all.
As a bridge constructor. I didn't know that was a thing. That's cool.
Yeah, that's been out on
PC
PC for a while. We have a full guide on IGN.com.
That's cool.
One thing I never understood is if you have portals, why do you need a bridge?
This guy gets it.
I don't understand.
Because you have to get the bridge to get to the next portal. You can move the bridges around
I
with
so
portal.
admire your enthusiasm right now, and you're trying real hard. It just doesn't make any sense.
But Portal is meant to be a puzzle game where the bridges contribute to the puzzles.
This time.
It makes sense to me.
I know it does. I know it does.
Because I was watching Dan Stapleton play some of the PC version when it first came out. The bridges are the puzzle, like figuring out how to build the bridges, and then the portals are just like the entrances and exits. But I don't know. It
doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make a lot of sense, but why not?
It's perfect sense.
It's Portal, and
The
it's
most
got
sense of any
then again, it comes out the same week you have an immortal running around ancient Egypt with a shotgun.
It's,
or redneck.
Ellen McLean, is that the voice of Gladys? Do I have her name correct?
I think so.
I believe that was right. Yeah, so she's in it.
That's cool.
Yeah, get some Gladys.
Did you know she's also in Dota 2?
Oh, do you have like a
Yeah,
GLaDOS aesthetic pack or something?
Yeah, you can make there's an Arcana or a special, I guess, outfit for one of the characters that's essentially just a blue ball. You can make a companion cube.
I think think John St. John, the voice of Duke Nukem, is also in Dota 2. He's either in Dota or League. It's one of the two.
There's a lot of voice actors in Dota 2. So
I was here until 1
Stay in
a.m.
your
last
lane.
night, and there is we have a portal room here, and twice GLaDOS said things.
Every once in a while.
Every time it terrifies me.
Yeah.
What does she say again?
Here by myself at 1. She's like, "Are you still there?" And I was like, "Damn it!"
No.
it's like the Furby.
You're just like, it's happening. It's happening.
Freaks me out every time.
Very embarrassing on speakerphone conference calls. They'll be like, "What just happened?" Just never forget
It's
it.
fine. It's just
Move on.
It's
That's
whatever.
where we work.
Next up, Switch or Die Trying, February 28th. As the character I, who has lost all of his friends, embark across 75 ultra-challenging levels. The story goes on, March 2nd, combining elements of permadeath with random world generation. Shopkeep, man, there's a lot of games. Also March 2nd, manage your own fantasy retail shop.
Oh, this looks really good.
I'd actually like to play that.
You're actually a merchant rather than an adventurer, and you have to like stock your shop.
I like that.
March 2nd?
Mulaka. I
don't have to craft my items in my shop, do I?
You actually might. I don't know.
Damn it.
Mulaka is March 2nd, inspired by the real-world locations of northern Mexico. It is a new 3D action-adventure game based on the culture of Tarahumara. I played this, and for whatever reason, assuming that I'm right about it, I thought it was Switch exclusive, but maybe it just came out on Switch. It was really good. It was very Zelda-esque.
Yeah, the art looks really interesting.
I liked it a lot. Pit People, a lot of fun.
Yes.
That is finally graduating from Xbox Game Preview.
The Behemoth, makers of Castle Crashers and Battle Block Theater, and they've been
Great time.
working on this game for many years now.
Their track record is great.
It really is.
Yeah.
They don't ship games often, but man, when they do, they're usually really good.
The last two, Turok and Turok 2.
What?
What?
Huh?
Huh?
What?
Turok and Turok 2?
Yeah. Like, are these the Turoks that I'm thinking of?
Like
because
the N64?
It says the classic returns, restored and enhanced with new visual engine for Xbox One.
All right.
So it's a
Does it have multiplayer?
It's a
Oh,
port.
God,
It's a
it's
port of
got
the
to.
N64 version.
I guess,
with
which I'm very happy about.
I'm 100% going to cerebral bore everybody.
Wow. It's probably going to play awfully, but it's both
Yeah.
of them.
Oh yeah.
That's
Well,
so
because
cool.
the N64 still used the C buttons.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Like,
I mean, they
move
made
around.
it work with Rare Replay, so I imagine.
Oh, was
with
it in
some
Rare
shuffling-
Replay too?
No, it's not. I mean, like
Oh.
Jet Force Gemini was like a disaster when they first brought it to Rare Replay because of camera controls largely, but they fixed it. So it's like I imagine they've done some work to make this work.
I still got to check that out.
Oh, cool.
Man, that's super cool.
Love it.
That's all your games.
All right,
of 'em.
let's do trivia. Let's see where we stand again after last week. We have Alana out in front with 4 points for the year. We've got Miranda right there at 2 points. Brandon on the board last week, picking up a point. Brandon, you and I attended a Metallica show together
Twice.
twice. So I'm counting on you.
Okay.
Different shows, not the same. We didn't leave and come back. It was 2 different shows.
I'm counting on you to get this right.
I won.
And we'll see. Any Metallica
Nope.
fandom over
I
here?
have actually also seen Metallica live, and it was
Okay.
great, but I don't know the answer.
All right,
I
well,
don't
we'll
know
give this a try.
anything about Metallica.
Tony writes in and asks, in honor of Metallica announcing a new world tour, they're not stopping in San Francisco. I am baffled.
Oh.
Well, they're from here.
I know, but they're going on like
James
a
Hetfield
huge.
was from here.
They're not. How do you not stop in San Francisco on a?
On
Anyway,
a world tour.
we got to see him last fall. I can't complain. Tony asks, in honor of Metallica's new tour, I present this question. What was the name of the Metallica video game that was in development for the original Xbox? It was also due for PS2 and PC. It was Vivendi. I'll give you the clue, was the publisher behind this. It was eventually canceled. It never saw the light of day. There's some footage online. I know that because I went and looked at it right
It came out in
before this.
like 2016 or something,
Yeah,
right?
It did see the light of day. So a Metallica video game. I'll give you a little clue. It would
Oh,
just,
no. There are no clues.
Oh man.
There are no clues.
No, I mean it
like
does.
clues.
It's no, just
Brandon's 3 points behind. There's no clues.
I'm
No.
just gonna say it was a kind of like
Homage.
twisted metal, Mad Max type of car combat game. All
See,
right.
Now I think you're actually hindering them.
I'm just telling you what kind of game it was.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right.
Gonna
What
rule
was the
out
name
one
of it? So was it Damage Incorporated, Fade to Black, One, or Twisted Metallica? I like that. I wonder if that was the real name. I'll go to Brandon last.
Yeah.
So Miranda just shaking her head, nodding in the.
I have
Not
zero
confident.
clue.
Take a shot.
I'll just go for A. Mix it up. I've
Okay.
never chosen A. I think.
Ooh yeah! All right,
So
Alana.
damaging.
It's definitely not going to
So
be.
good. Look up. Brandon sent me
A
the-
SoundCloud.
every yeah
From every
from
song.
every album.
From every Metallica album.
Because
yeah.
that's what he says all the time on
yeah.
there.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah.
It's funny. Look, it's definitely not Twisted Metallica.
Okay.
Yeah.
One is a very good song, but I don't know if they would call a game one.
Yeah, that
especially-
doesn't tell you anything about a game. I mean, it could, but not for a Metallica game.
I don't think so, especially if it's like an action-y type thing. It's a very
Yeah.
good song though. So between A and B, Damaging sounds more like a video game, but I'm just gonna go with B because Miranda went with A to make it
Okay.
interesting.
Brandon.
Closing the gap. It is A.
It is Damage
Damage
Incorporated,
Inc.
which is also a Metallica song, but that's
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was
They also
also
have an album of like covers called Garage Inc. So it's sort of an aesthetic that runs.
So
all right.
I was really worried about getting this wrong because
A seems.
You're
most
worried about
likely.
just.
we would have tied, and you would have had 2, right?
Is that so?
You have
bad?
2?
He has
no, well,
two
I
now
don't want
and
to
you
be
have
at the end.
three.
I
I
just
have
don't
2, you
want to
have
be
3.
last. That's my thing.
Ryan's lying.
One of you is going to be
I'm
sick
not
one
gonna
day,
know.
and I'm going to catch
No.
up.
Okay, well,
Good,
yeah,
good
it is-
job,
it
Miranda.
is
Good
Damage
job,
Inc.
Brandon. Yes.
Good
Damage
job, Alana.
Incorporated.
She narrowed it down. She was.
Yeah.
50,
It was solid logic. I do love
50-50.
Twisted Metallica. That was
I-
obviously.
I'm such a dummy. Like I said, now you've hindered them, and I feel like that gave away a hint that it wasn't Twisted Metallica.
I didn't think it was
Well,
Twisted
it was never
Metallica
going to be
anyway.
Twisted because of Twisted Metal. It was totally
Yeah.
not me.
That makes perfect sense. Like a
No.
Twisted Metal clone, but Metallica.
Before he'd said anything, I immediately took out Twisted.
Yeah, I pretty
All
much
right, well,
like knocked off C and D.
Maybe I'm not a dummy then.
No, you're not done.
One is a
Thank
really
you.
good song. That
It
song's
is
a lot of fun to play on Guitar
phenomenal.
Hero too.
Fade to Black might be my single favorite Metallica song.
Probably the
really-
most
I
popular.
think
It's
it's the
amazing.
one that I know.
It's about suicide, so that sucks.
Yeah.
It's super dark.
I mean, one's not much better. It's about
It's
a
war- yeah.
quadriplegic
Who's come
who's
back-
deaf,
yeah.
deaf and blind. Yeah.
it's
Oh, that never occurred.
James Hetfield, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Call of Cthulhu is great
Think
too.
again.
There's a wolf and man thing that should not be until it sleeps. There's a lot of good.
Anyway, I'm half an hour late to a meeting.
Yeah, time to go.
This is a long one.
Let's get out of here. We started late. We're going late. Lots to talk about on this week's show.
Yeah.
Lots of things I hope I never have to talk about again.
Yeah.
Like
Anyway,
like, you know what.
just don't talk about it again.
Yeah, exactly. That
Cerebral
too.
bores.
I'm Ryan
Metallica.
McCaffrey. You can find me on Twitter at DMC_Ryan. I have wait, did I post? When was? Oh yeah, the David Brevik Unfiltered already went up. Yeah. I shot another one, and we got more coming up. Trying to keep them all straight. That's all. There's a lot going on in the
It's a busy time
me
of year.
chatting with developers thing.
Yeah.
Miranda.
Hello.
Hi.
That's me.
What are you up to?
A lot of stuff that I don't really want to talk about yet.
Fair enough.
I think I should probably hold off on it. But you can follow me at Havoc Rose, and that's Havoc with a K. And I'm pretty much everywhere. So hello.
Alana?
I am at Charlotte out on all of the things. The second episode of my new podcast with Marty went up today.
Ooh.
Love it.
It's about misconnections. It's very silly. Jared was actually on this episode as well. So.
It's got to be good.
Exactly. Work-wise, putting up a cosplay feature today. Been doing a lot of stuff with the Fix, obviously. Planning to do some op-ed stuff that I also kind of can't talk about. But I was thinking about writing something about one of the things we spoke about today.
Looking forward to it then.
Yeah.
Metallica.
Metallica.
Yeah.
Which is the best Metallica song?
Oh my God.
Perfect for
I have to
IGN.
leave now.
You know the comments
I
on
can't be
that
here.
would be like our highest comments of any article we'd publish this week for
We
sure.
should do it.
Just put it up.
And we can because there was going to be a video game, so it's in our
It
wheelhouse.
counts.
It's
Yeah.
relevant.
All I gotta do, we just need to do. We just need to get a build of that game. That's all we gotta do.
Find
That's
it.
all it takes.
Vivendi, well, I
We'll
mean,
work on it.
Vivendi's, yeah.
Anyway, Brandon, take us home.
Hey, so I'm Brandon Tyrell. You can find me on Twitter at my
hey.
name. And today we just dropped the very last piece of our Far Cry 5 IGN First. It has been a very long month of awesome content. If you haven't seen any of it, I urge you just type in Far Cry 5 IGN First in Google, and you'll
Put
find
Boomer on the end to find out more about that cute dog.
Yeah.
you'll find some links that you really
Also,
like.
we didn't talk about the fact that there's a new Overwatch hero. There's a new Overwatch hero.
Oh, yeah.
right.
It's true, and I'm
Name's
not.
Bridget,
She's not
12 year old's
out.
daughter.
Public test server though.
Right.
Yeah.
She's not
She
officially.
was announced.
Yeah, I can't remember.
On the
She's got a
test server.
funny pronunciation of her name, so I'm not gonna try. But
Bridget?
No.
it's
Um.
Brigitte or something like that. It's not right. That's not
Brigitte.
right. Brigitte.
Yeah. It's like Brigette.
It sounds like a fun
Brigitte.
pasta.
And then tune in
No.
next week when we'll be
I said it
kicking
wrong.
off our March IGN First. Should
Yeah.
hopefully be a good one. I'm very much looking forward to it. I went there myself with you this time. I haven't.
Did?
Gone, I haven't.
was like, yourself, really? Okay.
Well,
I dreamed the whole thing.
I haven't gone out on the
a
road
trip,
myself
yeah.
for a little while.
I'm
so.
usually the boots on the ground guy, but it was really nice to have you along for this trip.
Good times.
Yeah.
Good
So
times.
Did you
tune
guys
in-
see Metallica together again?
not in
That's
Seattle.
the second
would've.
time, right?
We would have.
had the opportunity arose.
Yeah,
yes.
100%.
So yeah, that the announcement of that will come out next week. But yeah, Far Cry 5 last piece is up. We're wrapped, so check that out. Other than that,
All right.
Have a
We'll
great
see everybody next week. Have fun with your Xboxes, folks. I know we will, because we got the Duke.
Fable anniversary.
Got the Duke. See you next
See you
week.
at Thieves Controller.